So if you think everything is cozy and everything is fine and dandy, make your own videos and talk about how fine everything is. That's it.
Shit. Challenge accepted. Let's get up, let's get gig ready. Saying it like it is. One of my favorite channels that is sponsored by Paid to Drive himself. I dig you, man. I don't agree with you at all, but you entertain me for whatever that's worth. Let's get the full disclaimers out of the way here. I don't have a problem with you complaining. My problem is when you complain about the same thing over and over and over again. File your complaint, upload it to YouTube. One time is good enough. Move on to the next thing. The second disclosure, I don't know if you know or not, and I'm sure at first this is going to go straight to your fucking head, but when you crash land back down to earth, relax. When I tell you that Tony Shu and pretty much all the CEOs of these gig companies are indeed watching your YouTube channel, okay? I know that's gonna go straight to your head, but that's really not a good thing because you're not helping. My problem with your content is sure, complain, but every now and again it would not kill you to think of a solution to the things you're complaining about and uploading that to YouTube. I'm not asking you to lick GrubHub, DoorDash, or Uber's ass. I'm not asking for that. I just think that there's enough complainers here on YouTube being endorsed by way bigger YouTubers. And when I created this channel, I decided that I wanted to find good things to say. We got enough haters. We got enough preachers. We got enough cherry pickers. We've got enough of everything, but I have not found a YouTube channel that is here to say good things. Or be nice for that matter. Everybody thinks that they can run the business better. And my friend, I think you have a rude awakening. I think you are in a corrupt environment and it is corrupting you. But what do I know? So I'm going to accept your challenge. I've left you challenges in your comment section before saying, can you at least say one positive thing about any of these gig apps? I'm sure you can find something positive, just no matter how small. I'm positive you have something in there positive to say. And then go on about your day complaining. That seems to be your favorite pastime. And Pay to Drive endorses it. But every now and again, find something. But who am I to say, one way or the other, until I lead by example? My app of choice is GrubHub. Hands down, no questions asked. I love GrubHub. I have been considered a brown noser. I have been shunned. I continue to be shunned for being a premier driver in 2021, but that's my choice. Mostly hated by my peers. No one likes me, and I'm fine with that. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money and pay my bills. I love GrubHub from the ground up. I really do. There are a few exceptions, a few decisions GrubHub has made. It's made me go, what? But I look back at what's going on around me with other drivers, and I feel like I am the lonely one. I feel like the black sheep of the family, the delivery family, so to speak. And there aren't very many people out there that have the same view that I have. I fully recognize that, and I'm fine with that. Instead of telling you all my life history, I'm just going to start from the gig economy. From the time I entered the gig economy. Okay? So, luckily for me, fortunately for me, I was a true 1099 independent contractor, freelance independent contractor before I entered the gig economy. So I knew exactly what I was in for. And that's really what makes all the difference in the world here, folks. Because true 1099 independent contractors do not have it easy. It's not fun work. Hardly any of it. There's a reason it's a self-employed business, is because no one else on earth wants to do it. Ask a painter. Go to a painter. Next time you walk by someone painting a wall somewhere, ask them what got them into it. I guarantee you they all have the same story. No one else wanted to do it and everybody was throwing money at it. Nobody likes to paint. Not non-artistic stuff. No one likes to paint the same color all the way down a hallway. Nobody likes to do that. There's money in it though. Big money in it. So I was a professional carpet cleaner before I entered the gig economy. What I like about that job is it's stress-free. When we showed up to clean someone's carpet, 9 out of 10 times they were very grateful to have us there, and the whole entire time we were cleaning, they were complimenting how good of a job we were doing, and it was a good, honest living. It was very backbreaking because I had to constantly move furniture. Even on sliders, moving furniture is not fun. There's little pads that we could put under the legs and stuff and easily move it across the floor. Broke my back every day. On that job, I got paid 20% of whatever the job was worth. A lot of the time, we were contracted by apartment complexes. Those were really small, and we charged by the linear foot. I'm not going to explain what that is, Google it. We charged by the linear foot, $10 a linear foot. So a lot of times when we went into these apartments, they were really, really, really small apartments, and they were only worth $50. 20% of 50 is $10. There were some days where that is all I had to do was one apartment. I probably spent more in gas getting out to the job and back home than I earned. Okay? So I'll stop there. There's a whole lot of reasons that job alone makes me grateful for this, but I'll stop there. So the money wasn't always there. It was not a stable stream of income. The money just wasn't consistently there, okay? That's what you really need to take away from what I just said. So the day finally come. Congratulations, Uber's available in your market. Sign up, download the app, yada, yada, yada. Signed up, downloaded the app. The first year I drove for Uber, I actually made money. I did. At any given time, I had a little bit of money in my pocket. But after the first year, it seemed like Uber was going out of their way to make sure that I never got any money. I got trips that were 3 hours long. And at the end of those trips, I had no money whatsoever because oftentimes those trips were given to me at the beginning of my shift and I hadn't worked up any money for gas. And they wouldn't let me have that money for about a week out, so I had to coast back home on fumes because I could not drive where I just dropped off a passenger to. Uber went out of their way to fuck me absolutely as hard as they could and keep me on the road for as long as they could. But at the time, unfortunately, the only thing available in my area was rideshare. I had to stick with it. I was still making more money than I would have at a minimum wage job, but barely. I did not want to go back to the stress of a W-2. I enjoyed being my own boss, calling the shots and deciding when I go to work and when I didn't. And then that was enough to keep me on the road. Until I had a friend of a friend of a friend say the word GrubHub. Hey, did you hear about GrubHub? They're in town, and the few GrubHub drivers I've talked to said that there's so much business that they're having a hard time keeping up with it. Oh, really? Do tell. This was at a time when you could not download the GrubHub for Drivers app via the Play Store. You had to go on their site and sign up, and they would send you a link to download it, and you had to set your phone to be able to install unknown apps. That's how long ago this was. Took about 2 weeks to finally get on the platform, and when I did, I fell in love for one reason, and one reason that became 5 reasons. But the first reason, I fell in love. I detest ratings. DoorDash has ratings, and they're meant to keep their drivers on their toes. Uber has ratings, and it's meant to keep drivers on their toes. Everyone else has ratings. They're meant and designed to keep a driver on their toes. But I think it would be a lot better if we knew what we were doing wrong and why we were getting rated low. But nonetheless, GrubHub does not have a rating system that we, the driver, can see. Schedule your damn blocks, go work, make sure people get their food, and head on down the road. I'm sure there's ratings. I'm sure every now and again customers and restaurants are asked to take a survey. I know restaurants can rate us, but that's for GrubHub, not for us. It's a tool for the restaurant to communicate with the company. But I still cannot see ratings when I get done delivering everything, and I know I did the best job that I possibly could. I don't see my ratings drop like they do on DoorDash for no reason whatsoever. DoorDash, you do that shit on purpose. There's no way my ratings fluctuate as hard as they do. You do that on purpose. That you are heavily manipulating the rating system. I'm calling it the way I see it. But that's why I don't work for you, DoorDash. At least Uber seems to be fair with the rating system. But that ain't saying much. Because if you do one little thing that the customer don't like, you're getting slammed with a 1 star. But that's the first thing I fell in love with. No rating system. I like the scheduling over the rating system. The scheduling really does replace the rating system if you look at it that way. GrubHub doesn't go out of their way to screw me over. So when I do a really long trip, I actually get paid. You know, if a $50 trip comes up, when that trip's over, I have access to that $50. Unlike Uber, if a $50 trip comes up, 4 days, 5 days, until you have access unless you do weekly payouts. I never really fooled with that. Back then, I needed gas every single day, which I still do, but I can budget with GrubHub because there's a consistency. So I get a consistent paycheck. I mostly make the same dollar every single week. I cannot say that for Uber. GrubHub caps off drivers, which they recently lifted that cap in bigger areas because cherry pickers want everything. And when everybody in a region is a cherry picker, GrubHub needs some people to pick up those small orders. Just saying. But in my region, there's a cap to how many drivers they'll let in, so I get to keep making the money. GrubHub ultimately changed my life. When I was an Uber driver, I found myself in the middle of some situations that your mom warned you about when you were younger. For real. I was working during the graveyard shift, getting drunk people home all the time. There was more money in that than there was getting people to work and back. So I hovered around the nightclub scene when I drove for Uber, and I wound up in the middle of some situations. A few times I did fear for my life. I haven't found myself in one of those situations with GrubHub. GrubHub ultimately gave me the traction that I needed to get my feet back on the ground. Not just with money, but with purpose. As I said so many times before, I can't tell how many times I've showed up with someone's food that didn't tip. And the relief on their face, they're a single mother, 5 kids in a house, no car. 101 of those situations. At the same time, I've delivered to people that didn't tip and just acted completely shitty. But I don't know the situation until it's over with. And just because a few people got shitty with me that didn't tip is not going to stop me from hooking people up that are grateful for people like me that'll get them their food without tipping. Yes, I hear the argument all the time. If they have enough money to get online and order food, they have enough money to tip. That's their problem. In my mind, that's their problem. In my mind, that's their issue. Regardless of what the reason for not tipping is, food is a human need. But I've already preached about that on this channel and other channels. But GrubHub just did something to my soul. GrubHub is genuinely given me my life back in a roundabout way. There was a point in my life, as an Uber driver especially, that there was never any money to spare. Every dime of my money went to gas tank and a little bit on food. A lot of times Uber would keep the money for themselves where I had that fuel card. They finally got rid of it. With GrubHub, I've had nothing but pleasant experiences. That's another thing I absolutely love about GrubHub is they'll communicate with you. You might not always get a direct answer, but they're really good. Even now, they're really good about communicating with their drivers. If there's something you really want to know You don't have to press hard to get an answer. I can actually afford car parts to fix my car with after I pay the bills and gas and overhead. I have money left over to actually fix my car. Go out, buy new clothes, catch a movie every now and again, and enjoy life to its fullest. GrubHub themselves changed my life for what I consider the better, and I'm eternally grateful to them for that. I feel like I have been heard. I feel like I have made suggestions to a $5 billion corporation, and they heard little old Jeremy Kaiser over here in Kentucky speak. I cannot say the same thing about DoorDash or Uber, but GrubHub, 100%. Anytime I've had a problem, it's just a phone call away from getting it fixed. And yeah, guys, it's freed up my life, given me purpose, put money in my pocket, and pulled me out of a deep, dark depression. And along the way, I did find out that I'm autistic, which is why I've never been able to hold a W-2 job like I can this. So, being mentally handicapped, not to the point where I feel like I need to go draw disability, but without this job, I would draw disability. You know, I got mild Tourette's. I can live life halfway normal and in peace, thanks to GrubHub. We do have a cherry picker problem. I feel like that's going to kind of fix itself and go away all on its own, because sooner or later people are going to get smart and realize, oh, I'm a small business owner, but so are all these other drivers. So how do most small businesses thrive and survive? By undercutting their competition. Sooner or later, some of these people are just, a light bulb's going to come on over their head, and they're going to wake up one day and be like, I'm throwing money back. When I hit decline, I'm throwing money back. The $2 and $3 offers, I get that. But the $4 and on up, you know, people are throwing $8 back. Eventually, times will get hard enough to where there is no big orders coming through. And if you do not accept the $5 offer, you're not making money. And when people's wallets start hurting, I promise you, cherry picking will fade as a fad. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Gig Ready, reminding you that life is truly stranger than fiction, and ignorance is bliss. Peace.